You know, our Chicago Bears are currently on a 4-game winning streak. But if you listen to the Bear fans and how they're chattering after this recent victory against the New Orleans Saints, you would think that the sky is falling down just because our quarterback, Caleb Williams, had one bad game. Fans are talking about how he's a bum, he's a problem, he might not be the guy. It's all a bunch of nonsense, and I'm not about to stand for any of it. Welcome back to Bears Yard. This your boy Vipe, and yes, you heard me correctly. There are actual Bears fans on the internet of our 2025 talking about how Caleb Williams is now a bum. He's not the answer, this, that, and the other, calling that man every name in the book, blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, I will be the first to tell you all that Caleb Williams had a bad game this Sunday. He went 15 of 26 for 172 yards, didn't throw any touchdown passes, had the one interception, and he was missing throws again. He was erratic. He was holding the ball too long. He basically regressed into the Caleb Williams that we are trying to get rid of. But am I going to sit here and say that just because he had one bad game that he's now trash and that we should be done with him? Hell no. Absolutely, positively not. Listen, the Bears running game has elevated after the bye. Against the Saints, they had over 200 yards on the ground. Let me ask y'all something real quick. Why do you think the Bears running game was able to gain over 200 yards on the ground? Don't worry, I'll wait. You want to know why? Because the New Orleans Saints defense was keying in on Caleb Williams and the passing game. If teams aren't afraid of your passing game, guess what they do, you all? They lock your running game down. But because the New Orleans Saints and other teams in the league are knowledgeable and understand that Caleb Williams can chop them up like sushi, if they're not careful, they have to respect what Caleb Williams can do. Even if he's having a bad day, he is still dangerous and can still hurt an opposing team's defense, which is why you have to respect him at all times, which is why the Bears running game went for 200 yards this week, had over 100 and some odd yards on the ground last week, because defenses know that Caleb Williams is a threat passing the ball. Because again, if you have a quarterback that is not a threat passing the ball, it will be extremely difficult to run the ball because teams will then key in on the running game and lock it down. They'll put 8, 9 in the box to stop the running game because they know they don't have to fear the passing game. Guess what, Chicago Bears fans? That is not the case with our 2025 Chicago Bears. Teams cannot put 8 and 9 in the box to stop the Bears running game because if they do, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson will tear that defense apart. We've seen it already. Ask the Dallas Cowboys how that worked out for him by not taking Caleb Williams seriously, okay? Just because he had one bad game does not mean he is a bum. And also, we got to give props to our defense. I mean, them boys shut the Saints down. 4 turnovers, intercepted Spencer Rattler 3 times, and just shut the Saints offense down. Them dudes couldn't do anything in the second half. It was glorious. I mean, they were hitting the same players like they owed them lunch money. It was some bully ball being played out there at Soldier Field on Sunday afternoon, and the Bears defense was getting after it and had 4 takeaways. And the cool thing was that the defensive back coach and secondary coach, Al Harris, even called his shot. He told Jason McKee of ESPN that the Bears defense would get 4 takeaways in that game. And what do you know? The Bears defense ended up actually getting 4 takeaways in the game. So shout out to Al Harris and the rest of the defensive coaching staff for putting a game plan in place that allowed the Bears defense to thrive. Going back to the Caleb Williams stuff, though. Again, it was a bad game. He didn't perform very well. The pre-snap penalties reared their ugly heads again, although I'm not sure how much you can blame Caleb Williams for the pre-snap penalties. And some of it on him, sure. When you got Theo Benedict false starting and different things like that, and Drew Dalman not knowing how to snap the ball, that is not on Caleb Williams. That is on those players not doing their job properly and putting the offense in bad positions. But obviously, Caleb Williams is the quarterback, and he's going to get the brunt of the blame when things do not go the way they are supposed to go on offense. And that's just the life of being a quarterback in the NFL. But the Bears offense needs to find a way to stop beating themselves because they have the Ravens next week, and they are going to Baltimore. Even though that team is hurting and beat up, that team is a perennial playoff contender. The Bears will not be able to make the same mistake they've been making throughout the season if they hope to have any chance of beating the Ravens next Sunday afternoon. But Caleb Williams is not an issue, Bear fan. Please get that crazy thought out of your head. He is in year 2. He still has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He is not causing his team the game, unlike his counterpart last week, Spencer Rattler. Ben Johnson told you all in the offseason that growth will not be linear. He said there are going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and that is what we're seeing right now with Caleb Williams. We need to remember that Caleb is on his second coach in as many years in the NFL, his second year in the league, second coach, second offensive system, different things like that. And he is learning a very complex offense right now. And Ben Johnson has not made it easy because he's chosen to throw the entire kitchen sink at Caleb Williams. And, you know, he tried to see what Caleb can handle and can't handle. I think he has kind of pared some things back for Caleb, but he also changed Caleb Williams' footwork too. So Caleb Williams is now trying to learn cadence still. He's dealing with changing his footwork, dealing with a new offense, dealing with new players. It's a lot to put on a guy who is just getting into the NFL because, again, we're talking about a second-year quarterback. And if you think Caleb Williams is really that bad in year 2, let's compare him to somebody that a lot of us know very well who's in year 5, Justin Fields. Look at what Caleb is doing this year compared to Justin Fields in year 5. Look at the passing stats. Because, of course, Justin has better stats at running the ball because he's a better athlete. But when it comes to strictly passing the ball and being a quarterback, Caleb Williams is mopping the floor right now with Justin Fields. Not to mention the Jets have not won a game this year, and the Bears are 4-2 on a 4-game winning streak. But we want to throw Caleb Williams away because he's not playing quarterback the way that we feel like he should be playing quarterback in his 6th game in year 2 of his career. Y'all need to get off the internet, log off, go touch grass, leave Caleb alone. That man will be all right. Ben Johnson will make sure of it because whatever headaches and things that Ben Johnson doesn't like that he sees from Caleb Williams, guess what Ben Johnson is going to do? He's going to coach that stuff out of Caleb Williams and make Caleb Williams a better quarterback in the long run. All it requires is some patience on his part and our part as fans. But let me know, how are you feeling about Caleb Williams? How are you feeling about our Chicago Bears? Drop a comment and subscribe to The Yard for all things Chicago Bears.